HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges, some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time, I'm proud and I love my HBCU. HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges, some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time, I'm proud and I love my HBCU.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
For 200 years, Montgomery, Alabama has been making history by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food? Like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
Oh, we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never, ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember. They can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft. Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more. But it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
All right, welcome to another live edition of the O&G Strike Zone. Brian Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, Kofi Hemingway, just three Rattlers living our best life, man. How are you fellas doing? I'm still basking in that glow from the past weekend. How are you guys doing? How are you living?
I'm doing great, man. How
Awesome
you doing?
birthday weekend.
Yeah, I told you we was releasing that Scorpio energy last week. Me and Kelvin we just released it, man. We just put it in the atmosphere. Because you know all Scorpios do is win, man. So we had to do a little extra.
And the 100 got to
Most
keep
definitely.
playing on time God, man, because that's our thing, man. I mean, they started playing our gospel music, man. We just started scoring touchdowns every 5 seconds.
Hey, it changed the game, didn't it? I think that's gonna be one of those moments. Like we'll talk about 10, 15 years from now. We'll talk about where were you when on time God just took over the camping world, and just all of a sudden we rolled up 21 points in 55 seconds and flags. Everyone had a yellow flag. Everyone who had a flag threw a flag. It was just ridiculous, man.
Yeah, that was an amazing moment. It was just right at the end of the song when General Hunt had scored that last touchdown, just seeing as the band is getting ready to cut it off. It was just an amazing moment, man. We were in the president's box at the time, and the whole president's box is just doing like this. Everybody's singing. The president's wife is sitting. We doing call and answer and everything, and I see hands waving all over Camping World Stadium, and everybody was in it. And then just right at the touchdown, everybody's like, yes, yes, yes. And all the church were like, yes, yes, yes. We were just going in, man. So it was just a great moment, man.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, folks in the media. Hey, Kelvin, we were about as composed as we can be because you're not supposed to cheer in the media room. But I think at that point, by that General Hunt one, it was over. They would have thrown a flag on us too in the media room. It was definitely a pro Rattler crowd on our end, and I thought we did well. under consideration, you know. But yeah, it was a glorious moment, man. So we got a lot to talk about, and we'd love to hear you guys who are out there watching us on YouTube and on Facebook. Where were you? What were you feeling? I mean, that's going to be one of those moments you might tell your kids about. You know, I think somehow, you know, surprisingly on social media, I have not seen anybody put a little montage together of that moment. I don't know.
have. Where
Maybe
you been at?
Oh yeah, it's
You
out
don't have
there.
in.
Somebody
You don't have the
tag me
right friends because it's all over social media.
Look, tag me at DRB365 or tag at ONG StrikeZone, please.
Okay.
You're right. I don't have the right. Yeah, I'm living in the wrong friend circles, Kofi. You're right.
In the wrong
I'm living in the
universe.
wrong friend circle. Wrong universe. Well, the title of this show appropriately put playoff wishes and championship dreams come true. We have a lot to be thankful for here on Thanksgiving Eve. For tuning in, joining us, because we got a lot to break down. I mean, we've got the big win over Saturday. Then on Sunday, obviously with the NCAA selection show, the Rattlers getting into the NCAA 24 team football tournament. Then we had the our Lady Rattlers winning the SWAC championship, and we even had that on live. The show we did Sunday night. I was a wreck. I'm tearing up my household as I'm watching that third and fourth set. I might have swore a few times. Thankfully, the TV, I have little rubber objects that I throw at the wall when things don't go well. So, I mean, I didn't break anything. No glassware was broken or TVs were harmed. But it was stressful watching those sets. And, yes, our ladies brought home the first SWAC championship in FAMU history. First in history. So, well-deserved. Beat Jackson State in 5 sets. And so, I mean, it was a great weekend. You know what I heard? I love the way Coach Simmons broke it down. His wife had said, and this was on the Willie Simmons show on Tuesday, that God must be a rattler. God must be a rattler that to make the sun orange and the grass green. You know, I mean, it just is a beautiful thing, and that whole weekend was just beautiful to be. It was a great weekend to be a Rattler, definitely, no doubt. So yeah, look, we got a playoff matchup coming up on Saturday. So we've got a lot to talk about. We've got some special guests joining us. Big show, taking time out of their busy schedules. We got Coach Gokhan Yilmaz of our championship Lady Rattler volleyball team coming to join us at the bottom of the hour. At the top of the second hour, Coach Willie Simmons is going to take time out of his busy schedule to come in and join the show. And then at the bottom of hour 2, we get to learn a little bit about our opponent from Mark Willoughby, who's the play-by-play broadcaster for Southeastern Louisiana Sports Network. So we're going to find out a little bit about our opponent. We'll get a chance to talk about that. Well, Kelvin, where do you want to start? I'll give you the first crack at it. Where do you want to start? I'll give you your first hot take from the weekend.
Man, it's got to be the Florida Classic, man, and our victory over BCU. I mean, it was 9 years, and it was convincing winning, and it catapulted us into the playoffs, which we hadn't been in 20 years. Right, we're the team that had the longest gap in between in this current field, that had the longest gap in between making the playoffs. There's no first-time teams in this field of 24. So, man, what can I say? We stayed true to who we are, right? We faced some adversity from the first play of the game with a 82-yard touchdown play from Bethune. And they were they were rocking and coughing and talk smacking and everything, and I'm sure they might have like, here we go. But this Rattler team has been consistent. They don't blink, man. They're unfazed, man. They're consistent. and generally speaking, they come back immediately and respond. And so this team, that's exactly what they did. They came back and responded. And then the defense that we know, that number one defense in the country, started to clamp down. And I think outside of that 82-yard pass play, Bethune had 40, maybe 45 yards the rest of the half. And so, our offense moved the ball some, tacked on another touchdown. Then we had some drive that stalled. We really was driving the length of the field that first half, right? We didn't have the typical field position we would have. And then come out second half, first, drive quarter, offense methodically moved the ball downfield, score. Now we 19-7. And now, that defense, man, when you give them a lead and stuff, they can kind of score in on you, man. It's trouble. So, Bethune kind of treaded water for maybe one drive or two. And then around that 7-minute mark, woo-wee, the boys played rattler football, man. And before you knew it, man, it was a bona fide blowout, and Rattlers, it was a testimony. It was a revival. it was everything, man. And it was beautiful. It was awesome. Then the 100, they put a whooping on BCU and the Marching Wildcats, but whooped them so bad they ain't stay around for the field quarter.
Yeah, right.
And then I don't know what that was with that talking Mary. Man, that was some scary stuff, man. That was different, man. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish with that, but I ain't used to dead people being on screen in the clouds, man. Talking about today's stuff, right? She wasn't even talking about
No.
You were talking about the Marching Wildcats, man. Okay, all right.
She's been paying attention. She's been paying attention all these years, right?
All I know, it was a bunch of L's. So. But anyway, it was a great classic weekend. And on the strength of that, Brian, we was in a box and we saw those scores rolling in for around the FCS landscape, and all those teams with 3 and 4 losses in every conference, almost every conference, all of them lost. They were down.
Yep.
It was like, hey man, there's no way cannot put us in at this point. And
right.
So the only team that actually won that was on could have been potentially a team that kept us on the bubble was Stephen F. Austin. Everybody else lost, man. Like I say, it was a wonderful rattler weekend, and the team defense and running game again. Bishop went over 100 yards again, and I got to do a shout out real quick because we had a special request. A lot of people watching the show coming up, and the FAMU support staff, right, from equipment to the sports medicine and trainers and everybody. I definitely want to shout them out. I know some of them watch the show and they mentioned, hey man, why don't you give me a shout out? So here's a shout out, man. Great job you all have done this year with the team and all our athletics and sports, and we appreciate what you do, and keep it up, man, to keep watching the show.
Hey man, we appreciate the entire support staff, everybody there who's been checking us out. Much appreciated. Kofi, fire away.
Well, first, I just want to make sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, man, it was just an amazing weekend to see the sea of orange and gray in Orlando the way that it was. The Cookman Nation, whatever they call them around, and I happened to get to the gate right when the Bethune-Cookman football football getting off the bus, and the cheerleaders were getting off the bus, and I happened to run into John Cookman, band announcer. And so as I was getting my credentials, getting ready to go up in, and so he was like, he's like, man, you all are supposed to win. And, because we just little old Cookman and blah, blah, blah. I said, we're going to win. He said, well, we won the last 9 years, and it looks like again. I said, oh, that's the devil right there. That ain't nothing but the devil. I'm trying to tell you right now. I bind all that wildcat spirit in Jesus' name. So we bust out laughing and dap one another up, and I give him, a little dap and said, but we finna win this game. I'm just letting you know, don't get your hope, nothing like that. And then the first freaking play, they scored the touchdown. But I felt a peace in my spirit, in my rattler soul. I was like, these boys have been fighting adversity all year, and they've done nothing but respond. And from then on, for me, they played a pretty clean game. And once Xavier got loose, I was like, they let Xavier get loose like that. That's a huge mistake. And because it's going to open up the real thing that we do, which is, of course, our running game. We had rushed for 276 yards. That's 300 yards of rushing. It was an amazing output. And of course, the historic quarter with the 100 and just that energy that was flowing through the stadium and the takeaways that our team was able to generate, just put it over the top, man. And like we had been saying, FAMU clearly had the better team. It was just a matter of going through the process of making it happen. I my greedy self wanted Coach Simmons to just go ahead and keep the first team, man, so we could keep it right at 46 to 14 or 46 to 7. And I wanted us to bust the 50 mark and, see how many touchdowns we could get. But hey, it didn't work out that way. And but even with that, Terrell fell down right at the goal line, right when we had an opportunity. We almost got it. But I'm pleased the game was over. Everybody was hugging and dapping each other up, taking a big sigh of relief. The whole fourth quarter was just a matter of fact. But to see everybody after the game, to see all the love, to see the happiness from the players on the field, relief of Coach Simmons, to see the staff one another up, and to see the family atmosphere that Coach Simmons has created and really generated is something that Rattler can indeed be of, and it's something for us to look forward to for years to come. To see the pictures of the recruits that were after the game, I was like, man, that's nothing but a yes. If you were in that atmosphere, to be able to see a lot of things like that. Now, I know that Jackson State and Alcorn had, close to 60,000, but Rattler Nation, and I think that in terms of energy, in terms of the crowd for the year, I would say that FAMU is definitely got a dynamic fan base that's second to none. And so I'm very proud of Rattler Nation and what we bring to the table. And I'm looking for us to get into playoff mode, understanding that we are a part of that atmosphere and we need to lend our voices to help this team to get and do whatever we got to do. So I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking about moments, when you have a season the way we're having a season or what we've had, and you think about the moments, and they run through my head like a snapshot, and there are so many beautiful moments that have happened this season. And I didn't even recall until I'm looking at the stats. The halftime score was 13-7. You realize that? I mean, it didn't feel like it was 13-7, but it was 13-7. And then, but it felt like it was more than that. It felt like we had more than 13 points by halftime. And then to see we scored 30 points in the third quarter. I mean, I obviously we ran off about 43 consecutive points, but 30 points in the third quarter. I mean, we'll talk about that third quarter. That quarter will go down in the history books of those great moments in Florida Classic history. And then especially like you said, when you look at it and then you go into that period late in the third quarter where you had the BJ Bowler 56-yard fumble recovery, then 2 or 3 plays later you had the interception by Marquise Bell. The next play you had the touchdown by Bishop Bonnet. Then you come right back and then you had the fumble recovery by General Hunt. All of that will kind of it'll go down as one of those great moments. Rattler history. Let me go through a couple of the stats, a couple of things. I think Bishop Bonnet was going into the ball game about 140 yards shy of 1,000 yards. He ended up the game with 128. No, I'm sorry. He was about 160 or 170 away from 1,000 yards. He finished with 128, which puts him right at about 46 yards away. NCAA stats include playoff games. So he will have an opportunity to go over the 1,000-yard mark, which is significant. Anybody out there in the chat rooms, or you tell me the last time we had a 1,000-yard running back. I hope it wasn't 2019, because it doesn't feel like it was, but I feel like it's been some years since we've had a 1,000-yard running back.
What was Philip Sylvester's last numbers in 2010?
2010. Yeah, I'd have to go look it up. Somebody out there on YouTube hit me up. Marcus Green's out there. I know he probably knows what Sylvester's last season was, but maybe I have to look it up in the break. I can also, I know I've got the history book somewhere and we can look that up. But yeah, so you think it was Sylvester in 2010 was the last time we had a 1,000-yard back? That sounds about right. Say again, Kelvin.
If not, it was Rashad Pompey probably. If it wasn't Sylvester.
Well, 19 carries, 128 and a touchdown. Jalen McLeod, 10 carries, 77 yards and a touchdown. Terrell Jennings, 14 carries, 68 yards and a touchdown. 276 total amongst FAMU rushers. And, a good day passing the ball as well. McKay was 15 of 23, 175, a touchdown, no INTs. Xavier Smith, 6 catches, 82 yards, and a score. Chad Hunter, 4 catches for 41 yards. Chris Sanders, 3 for 17. Shareed, 2 for 43. He did take a vicious hit, though, which took him away for the rest of the half. When did that hit come, Kelvin? Third quarter, wasn't it?
I don't remember if it was toward the end of the second or the beginning of the third, but it was in that range there. I know he did.
Yeah, so what kind of?
It was before halftime, so it had to be somewhere in the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, let's make a note and make sure we find out, see if Coach Simmons gives us any kind of update about Chad Hunter, who also went out in the first half. See if maybe Coach will share a little bit about Chad's status as well as Jamarie's status as well going into this weekend. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see them this Saturday. We want to be as full. We want to have as many bullets in the chamber as we can heading out to Hammond, Louisiana, taking on Southeastern. So let me see. Any other notes? Kelvin, let me go Kofi real quick. Kofi, how would you explain what we saw from Bethune's halftime performance, which I would label subpar to be nice? How would you label it? What did we see?
They were Cookman traditionally they're normally pretty precise, and I give them that, but they came out like, in my opinion, they came out like a high school band. They were marking themselves on the field. So the entrance, there was no major entrance. Then you had the drum majors falling down. Then they just stood there and they made BCU. Then, they stood there and played. Then they, you know, they stood and played while the 14K was doing their thing. They stood and played Love TKO, which was a song that the 100 played back in 2019. I was like, of all the ballads you played, you picked that one. So it wasn't great. Their dance routine was very mundane. And then they put Mary on the field. And then they put Mary in the, it was like, come on, people. Come on. Come on. This is the Florida Classic. Now, I have to give them credit for 2019. You know, 2019, they had the fist, the Black Power fist, and they went to the peace sign with the middle finger up, bro. I was like, that was good. I had to give it to them. That was just a good, solid show. And I felt like the level of creativity that they had was just not there. The energy level was not there. Their crowd didn't even respond. They wasn't singing Wildcats Let's Go like they normally do. It was just,
exactly.
You know,
That's
it
what
was
I
just
noticed.
not. It was not a good show for the Florida Classic. So I'm grateful for that. I mean, you know, I do like to see bands put on their very best effort, but that was just a raggedy show, in my opinion. That's not a show that you bring to the Florida Classic.
Yeah, well said. I mean, I can't even put that into better words. All right, we've got to take a break because coming up after our break, we've got our championship head coach joining us, the first of two that we'll have joining us. That's the first one is Coach Gokhan Yilmaz of our Lady Rattlers volleyball program. We'll get a chance to talk to him. I'm sure he's still on cloud nine after the big win out in Huntsville, Alabama at the SWAC tournament. So that'll be coming up after the break. Feel free to send us any questions you might have for our coaches. Put them in the chats there on YouTube, on Facebook as well. And if we've got time, we'll definitely ask Coach. So we'll be back right after these words. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone.
HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU. HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting SugarChateauDesserts.com.
For 200 years, Montgomery, Alabama has been making history by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
Welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, Kofi Hemingway here. Want to remind you, make sure you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at O&G Strike Zone. If you're watching us on YouTube, please go ahead and make sure to subscribe to the Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube page there. We are a part of the Black College Sports Network, and we greatly appreciate it. And also, download that Jericho Broadcast Network's app on Google and Apple Play Store. Search MyJBN or MyBCSN. As we wait on Coach Gokhan, one of the discussions we were having is we were looking for the last 1,000-yard rushers. Marcus Green in the chat room, he found it a little bit right about probably before we did. It was the last rusher to run for over 1,000 yards. And you called it as well, Kelvin. You called it first without the book. Rashard Pompey did that in 2000. What did I say? 2005. 2005. Rashard Pompey, 1,095 yards on 194 carries. We talked about Philip Sylvester in 2010. He got to 968 in 170 attempts in 2010. He did finish his career just under 3,000 yards. And prior to Pompey, O.J. Marchbanks in 2000 with 1,012 yards and 184 carries. So really, we've had two 1,000-yard rushers in the past 25 years since 1995, or since 1996 forward, we've had two. And so as I look at the stats here for Bonnet, 147 attempts. His net yardage right now is at 934. So he needs, do the math, somebody. That's 66 yards to break 1,000. And it's very likely he does it in fewer attempts than the previous two guys that we mentioned. He averages 84.9 a game. So if he stays on average, it's very likely Bonnet will hit it. Now, the other interesting stat that is coming up, and I'll tell you, I'm a little confused about this because I get different numbers every day, it seems like. Isaiah Land on the sack record run. Now, he had 2 sacks in the game, which by my count would have put him at 17. But I had heard that he might have had 3, so that would put him at 18. How are we counting these? Are we counting solo sacks, Kelvin, or are we counting combined with the assist on the sacks as well?
We count both. The total is both solo and half sacks.
Okay, so according to now, and see, you can go to 2 different places. So I'm looking at the FAMU's stat tracker here, Isaiah has 19 sacks total with 25 and a half tackles for loss. But if you go to the NCAA website for sacks, let me see. Where is it here? Bear with me here. Somebody say something while I look for it here. Under sacks, Isaiah has nope, it's total, 19. So I don't know. The numbers are weird. I don't know. They must have found a sack somewhere. I don't know. He's got 18 solo, counted 2 assists, and he's at 9. He has the second best season in FAMU history, and he's one full sack away from tying the record, 2 sacks from breaking it. And also, let's make a note. Postseason recognition honors. We got to give a shout out to Isaiah and Marquise Bell, both for being selected to the Buck Buchanan finalist list. That's Stats FCS, or now they're called Athlon, I think. Those guys' stats, and we'll get back to talking about those guys in a second. And it looks like joining us live and direct from his home in Tallahassee, Florida, it's our championship coach, Coach Gokhan Yilmaz. Coach, where's the trophy? How you doing? Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, we had to take it to our athletic director, so it's in the office currently. But yeah, I appreciate it.
Oh man, he should have let you hold on to that thing for about a good week. You know, you should be taking that thing all over Tallahassee. I mean, look, come on now. We have to talk to AD Gaucher about that.
Yeah. We'll do it this Sunday. We have a selection show in Hyatt House at 8:30 on Sunday. So we're planning on taking it there, and we also have plenty of other hardware with a lot of kids winning Player of the Year, Newcomer of the Year, Setter of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. So we came back with heavier luggages than we went back there.
Hey, that's always a good thing.
Coach of the Year too.
And Coach of the Year.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, I forgot that one for a minute. Thank you.
We know you're humble, Coach. We'll brag about you. Don't worry about it. We know you're a humble guy, passing it off to everybody else. But we're gonna say, look, congratulations to you, Coach, and congratulations to your players on bringing back all the most important hardware of all, that title. Hey, Coach, look, watching the game was nerve-wracking. I'm not gonna lie. I threw a lot of objects at the TV as I'm watching the game, especially in that third and fourth set. What was it? Can you put it into your emotions into words as you're going through those moments, especially in the third and fourth sets?
Yeah, it was very competitive, and it's never easy to win a championship, and if it's your first time especially. And we're the new kids on the block here. It's our first year in SWAC, so it takes time to adjust how the game is played, and conference time is always different than regular season. And if you look at the tournament, even the first match against 7th seed Prairie View was very competitive. It was 25-23, 25-23, 25-22, and their coaching staff did a great job with coming up with an excellent game plan. And the semifinal match again is Arkansas Pine Bluff. They did some stuff we would have never imagined, and kudos to them. But we were able to fix all those puzzles and be able to find solutions to everything they threw at us. And Jackson State, that started very well. I mean, our serving was very strong. Our blocking was good at the net. We had a really good transition play first set. We won 25-20. And at the end of the second set, we had a couple of miscues, ended up losing 28-26. I think that took the momentum away from us. And it's such a game of momentum, volleyball. So third set, 25-23. And then the fourth set, we changed our line a little bit. We gave them a different look. And we were down, I think, 12-8, but our kids stepped up and be able to come back and win it at the end. And we had to change the way we're running our offense a couple of times. And that's kudos to Jackson State, making adjustments and trying to find an answer to what we were throwing at them.
Kelvin, I'm gonna give it to you in a second, but I gotta say, Coach, I don't know. Have you gone back and listened to the play-by-play from the game? I mean, I don't know. Do you ever do that when your games are televised? That fourth set, I think what led to my anxiety is when we were down 12-7, 12-8, something like that, and the broadcast team had sort of written us off, and so there was no worse. And then they started going to these shots of the girls' faces. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on here? And then we rallied. It seemed like Dominique got hot all of a sudden, and she had a few big hits. And I think we ran off like six or 7 points in a row at that point. But that was a big turning point. And so that perseverance was what I was most proud to see from your team. Kelvin, go ahead, fire away.
Coach, I want you to talk about the journey of the season. You know, it was a year or so that you really didn't get a chance to play. Last time you played, you had some restrictions in terms of postseason and so forth. And now you go through this season with a lot of new pieces and a very competitive schedule, and you finish with 25 wins. You finished second in the conference, first time in the conference, first year in the conference, and you win a conference tournament, and you go into NCAAs. A lot of growth happened this year with your program. So just talk about it and how proud you are in that journey.
Yeah, thanks for bringing up all those points. And you and I work together, so you know more about what the program has been through. And I think Rory wrote a great piece at Tallahassee Democrat a couple of days ago about the journey that we had starting with 2008. With the coaching change, we only had 8 players coming back. We had kids that were transferring out due to previous coach leaving. And then in 2009, getting hit with the restrictions and scholarship cuts. And that hurt us. And that had nothing to do with our team, our players, our staff, our administration. It was the issues coming from 10 years ago. And COVID year, of course, we couldn't play, which we had a great team. But we were able to motivate our players to have a goal. And that was to do our best when we're allowed to play. When there is an opportunity that presents itself to win a championship, we would be ready to take it. And we had kids that are junior on the team academically, but they're freshmen eligibility-wise. Isis Williams is a great example of that, where she is in her 5th semester, but this is the first semester she's playing volleyball. So with all those difficulties, I think what happened is losing Radka Dimitrova's second practice of the season really added to that. She was supposed to be one of our best players, exceptional outside hitter, came back in top physical shape, but she tore her ACL in second practice in a non-contact, non-competition situation. So with that, we knew we needed some kids to step up. I think what happened is we had several kids missing time due to different reasons, and that played to our advantage. We were able to develop a lot of players in different positions, so we ended up with 2 back row players that were exceptional serve receivers, Jessa Long and Dominique Turner, because they both played significant time during the year. We ended up with 3 very good outsides. Obviously, Dominique Washington sees a lot of attention, deservedly so. But Jasmine Robinson developed into a great player who is a freshman. So did Emerald Jacobs. She's also a freshman from Houston, where she turned out to be a great player. And same thing in the middle. We have 4 middles that we can play any day without missing a beat. So I think us being able to develop those kids. And in the finals match, I agree that the momentum was favoring Jackson State in the 4th set. But we kept reminding our girls just to be confident just play like ourselves, and the game would come back to us. And that's what happened against Auburn. That's what happened against Texas Southern when we beat them in 5 from down to 0. That's what happened against Alabama State on the road. We were able to win 21-19 in the 5th set. And kids sparked a great run in the middle of that 4th and ended up being champions. But it was an exceptional effort, and character-wise, really we want to see as FAMU, where those kids didn't quit and they believed that they were going to win that match.
Well said. Kofi.
Man, I'm so proud of you guys. Thank you so much for persevering through that. What has this week been like leading up to the I want to say leading up to the playoff selection? Has the practice routine, or are you all on the same schedule?
Well, obviously being Thanksgiving week, and this is the first time us being in the NCAA tournament in 12 years. So we had some kids, especially the ones that are from further places, had family engagements that they had to attend. So we came back late on Sunday night. We flew back. I think we were at home at about 1:30 a.m. So we didn't practice Monday. We had practice on Tuesday and let the kids go join their families, get some rest. We're coming back Friday evening, so we'll start holding practices. A couple of them will still be missing, but obviously I always value family first. If there is a family issue or people need to spend time with family, that comes first for our kids and our staff. So we're allowing some of those that have prayer engagements maybe have an additional day off or so. And then we'll continue practicing starting Friday evening and see who we get on Sunday, and then continue practicing.
Awesome.
Coach, you mentioned obviously Dominique Washington's story. We've talked about it. Obviously, she was the player of the year, newcomer of the year. But I want you to take a second, if you would, and talk about Jessa Long and Iram Ukar, who I think when you look at statistically what Iram has done as the setter, I mean, her numbers are just, I mean, not just outside of conference. I mean, compared to anyone else in the SWAC, she's doubled anybody else. I mean, talk a little bit about their success and their impact on this team at their position.
Yeah, well, obviously, all of us know Dominique is a great player. She's currently #1 in the country in kills per set and the points scored in the entire nation. She always bounced between 3 and 7. Finally, she's at the #1 spot. But she either makes the first contact for us or the last one. So if she doesn't make the first contact, somebody else have to do that, which is very important in volleyball. Cleaner the first contact is, more efficient your offense is. So that's where Jessa comes into place. Very experienced player. She's one of those COVID kids and redshirted in 2019. Kept working hard and had an exceptional not only season but also a tournament for us. And we pretty much leave left side of the court to her defensively. So I'm very proud of how competitive she was and how well she played. And just to give you guys a comparison, 2.2 in serve receive. We measure serve receive numbers out of 3. We have a scale from 0 to 3. 2.2 to 2.3 is a good number. She serve received at 2.7 in the last 5 matches. So that's just off the charts, and kudos to her. And Iram is a transfer from TCU. She played at TCU for 2 years. She's one of those setters that sees stuff first, then makes the plays. So she helps our offensive players quite a bit, and she's very competitive. She's one of those kids that will think about the game, think about ways to score, come and talk about it, watch video of us, watch other teams, and get some ideas of what we can do. A young group.
All right. I'm Kelvin, you still going there? Hello?
Can you hear
Coach,
me?
you still with? Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Everybody still here? Coach, you there?
Okay.
Yes.
I'm back.
Okay. I don't know who was the last. Did we all just kind of go off at the same time, or what happened there?
Well, I got a notification, so I just logged back in. So we're good.
All right.
I think.
Okay.
So, Coach, just I wanna ask, just in terms of playoff matchups, in terms of game planning. Obviously, you all run plays. For those of us that are not as volleyball astute, where does it begin? Where does your success begin? Does it begin with your sets? Does it begin with your serves, your returns, or how does that game flow for you guys? What is the philosophy?
Well, in women's volleyball, it's usually a transition game. So that means when the other side hits, your blocking and your defense have to be able to come up with some sort of an answer. And we played in a way where our blocking takes space. So they're trying to eliminate some of the options for other side's offense in terms of channeling the ball to go more to the places we want on our side. That's why if you look at the stats, our blocking numbers are not exceptional, but our defensive numbers are off the charts. And once you dig that ball, now you have to be able to score out of system. And having those ladies we just discussed on the pins, Dominique, Jasmine, Emerald, and Karina, they're very good out of system attackers. So that helps us quite a bit. And how that starts is with our serving. We work a lot on serving. Usually volleyball practices, serving would be at the end of your session. So that's something you do 10, 15 minutes. You would put cones in different spots. We start with serving from the first minute right after the warm-up. We put a lot of emphasis on it because if we put other side out of system, we'll get the ball hit in the places we want on our side, and we'll be able to transition. So for us, it's the time that we serve. We're very intentional where we want the ball to go, how we want to force them to pass the ball, as well as how their setters get the ball, either from in front of them or from over their shoulder. So that sometimes limits some of the offensive options those guys have.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Kelvin, you want to close us out with any final questions or thoughts?
Yeah, I just want Coach to talk about. I know he doesn't know we got to wait until the selection committee, but I'd like for him to take a stab at what he guessing. What are a couple of regional hosts that a couple of possibilities that you think are realistic scenarios in terms of our team, and then how do you think this team will fare in a regional?
Yeah, absolutely. Volleyball ranks top 16.
Where are they?
Out of the field of 64. So they have 16 regional hosts.
It's hard.
And then the rest of the country goes under those 16 hosts as regional opponents. So NCAA wants most of the teams to be able to drive these locations. So you have somebody in close proximity and you're not in top 16, that's what you're going to end up. So for us, the bad news is we thought Florida State would host. Today they ended up losing to Notre Dame. So we're hoping they'll beat Georgia Tech this Friday. So they'll still have an opportunity to host. And South Alabama won their conference. They won Sun Belt. So that's driving distance to Tallahassee. That would already give 3 teams into this Tallahassee region. So we're hoping Florida State will win Friday. That would be a lock for them to host, and that would be the regional we're in. That means we would play Florida State in the first round. If that doesn't happen, and Florida wins one of their 2 matches this weekend, they have Kentucky twice, then they will potentially be a host. And with that being only 2 hours from here, that's probably where we would end up. And if they can't host also, Georgia Tech will host for sure. They are top 5 in RPI, and that would potentially send us and South Alabama to Georgia Tech. There's no saying what would happen. I think it's very unlikely we're going to fly out to somewhere because there's so many closer opportunities. But it's always exciting to wait and see that selection time and where we end up. But no matter what, we'll end up playing a great team. But our group knows that they worked really hard for this opportunity to get out and show the country that we are a very good volleyball team. And we're intending to do that no matter who's on the other side.
Well said. Well said. Well, Coach, again, we appreciate you, and it's look, we've been there since day one, and we're with you all the way until it ends, and we're not ready for this ride to be over with, Coach. I mean, it's too good to end right now. So you have a great Thanksgiving, and we look forward to seeing the selection show Sunday, correct? Is that what you said? Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday at 8:30, and we'll have a watch party in Hyatt House. So we're inviting everybody, including you all, to be there. Our team, our administration, our supporters will be there. It's right off of campus in the new hotel at House, and it's going to start at 8:30 p.m.
All right, Kelvin, you're our Tallahassee representative, so that means you got a job to do. You got a job. You got to represent the show at the watch party.
I'm on the job.
All right. Again, Coach Gokhan Yilmaz, SWAC champions, the first for Florida A&M University. Congratulations to you, your staff, the players, everybody within the volleyball program. Congratulations. Thank you. And, hey, let's keep it going. Have a great Thanksgiving, Coach.
Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to all of you.
All right. We'll be back right after these words with another one of our championship coaches on the other side. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone. We'll be back in a moment.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never, ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, and Kofi here. Shout out again to Coach Gokhan Yilmaz of our Lady Rattlers volleyball program. You know what, guys, I'm telling you, the story of Dominique Washington is one of those stories. I don't know who's going to write it. I'd love to be I'm not in Tallahassee, but her story is a heck of a story, from going from being a role player at Georgia Tech. And, you can look, where she was at Georgia Tech. And now you look at Georgia Tech. I mean, she was there as that program was rising. She leaves, comes to FAMU, becomes the number one. I don't know. Her statistics are number one in the country in terms of kills. Wins the conference, leads the team to a title, 25-7 record. I'm looking for a comparison, guy. What's a comparison to the Dominique Washington story? Can you think of one? I mean, in sports that you've seen where a player was at maybe another team as sort of like a role player, then goes to a new team and almost becomes like a star of this magnitude.
Curtis Pulley.
Okay, tell me more.
Curtis Pulley was a quarterback at the University of Kentucky. He transferred, came to FAMU, and literally was like our Michael Vick. He should have started from day one, and I think if he had, we would have been in the playoffs. And while he was here, he was a phenomenal player that did amazing things for our squad. So we're grateful. I mean, even if you look at Jamarie Sheree, you look at where he was good, at
Texas
the
State.
school where he was, but he's been an integral part of what we've been able to accomplish at Florida A&M University, and Rattler Nation has totally embraced him. I mean, the guy is like our Tyreek Hill. So there's a number of opportunities just looking at, even if you go to Division I, obviously you can't put that type of, he was just a regular player, but Hurts left Alabama and went to Oklahoma and led them to a Big 12 title. So Troy Aikman at Oklahoma went to UCLA, led him to a Rose Bowl. All those are phenomenal players and just phenomenal examples. It happens a lot of times, but sometimes just people just need to be in the right system, the right fit with the right team at the right time. And I'm happy that this collection of circumstances led Dominique to the highest of 7 hills here in Tallahassee, Florida.
And I'll just add, that's the magic of sports, right? So, if you stay on the journey and if you believe in yourself and you don't give up and you find your footing, right? The program that fits you, and continue to work hard, man. I've never seen hard work not pay off, for sure. So and you love to see stories like this, right? Well, she obviously was squared away from an academic standpoint because she came as a graduate student from a school that is academically elite, right? And she never grumbled, about her role where she was. She played her role, and then she comes here, and she has a more prominent role, and she's equally has been quiet, not loud about what she do. She just have come practice,
works,
and then when on game day showed up consistently and led the team to 25 wins in the first year. So I think it says a lot about her too, and the quality of young lady she is.
Yeah. I guess you brought up Pulley, you brought up Jamarie Sheree. Well, you know what? How funny is it that Isaiah Land may turn out to be a similar story, as he is right there in the mix for the Buck Buchanan Award. It was what I was going to mention right before Coach Gokhan joined us, that Isaiah and Marquise Bell were named finalists for the Buck Buchanan Award, which goes to the top defensive player in FCS. It's sponsored by Stat FCS. They've been doing this award for almost 30 years now. And it's pretty much recognized. The Walter Payton is considered sort of like the Heisman for the top offensive player. And then you have the Buck Buchanan Award, which goes to the top defensive player. And so it's very likely that we could be seeing on the field this Saturday the Walter Payton Award winner going up against the Buck Buchanan Award winner. Just depends on whether it's going to be Marquise or Isaiah. That I don't know which Rattler is going to get it, but Isaiah leads the nation not only in sacks but tackles for loss, and then you have Marquise, who obviously is a high level top round draft pick, 79 tackles, I think is the stats I saw. While we're waiting to see if Coach Simmons is going to join us or when he does, let's get into talking a little bit about this upcoming opponent, Southeastern Louisiana. That's who we drew from the Southland Conference. Southeastern Louisiana finished second in the conference with a conference record of 6-2, 8-3 overall is their record. Now, it's pretty interesting that the Southland is one of these conferences that has been rated. They've been affected by the conference churning. Very similar, worse than the SWAC, worse than the MEAC actually. Because this is a conference that went from about 10 or 11 teams down to 6 this year, and it sort of happened. I think after the schedules had already been out, if I'm not mistaken, or really, I think early January is when it happened. And I was just kind of doing some research that the number of teams that were. Do you have a list of who those teams were that were in the Southland by any chance, or if not, don't worry. I don't know if you might have, Kelvin, but those schools left the conference in a situation where they had an 8-game conference schedule, and because you had 6 playing teams, you essentially had 3 opponents that you were going to have to play twice. So we talk about the MEAC, like for example, the MEAC only is playing, everybody plays each other once, and then the rest of your schedule is non-conference. So you end up really having more non-conference games than conference games. Well, the Southland sort of did the opposite of that. They have 6 members, but they choose to have an 8-game conference schedule. So they had 3 opponents. Everybody has 3 opponents that you play twice. So for Southland, now here's a team that the number 1 scoring offense in FCS, averaging about 48 points a game. Obviously, they have Cole Kelly, 6'7", 260 quarterback, won the Walter Payton Award from the spring. I looked at his numbers. Kofi, you're right. He's going to win the award this year. I don't see it. I don't see how anybody is going to win this award. And you know what sold it for me, Kofi? When I looked at that, my man is leading the team in rushing. Not only has he thrown for 4,300 yards and 38 touchdowns, he leads the team with 442 rushing yards and 16 touchdowns. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous numbers. The production level from one guy, and look, I'm not going to lie. If my NFL team was in need of a quarterback, I'd be like, hey, let's, you know how we did the old suck for luck? I know how we did that back in the day as Indianapolis fans. Yeah, you need to suck for Kelly or whatever you need to do, because this dude seems like the next level real deal. What is it that you've seen from Kelly, Kofi, that has impressed you when you talk about him winning the Walter Payton Award, or just what you've seen from him that impresses you the most?
Well, number 1 is size. He's huge. And he's not a lumbering huge. He can move. His arm strength is phenomenal, and he's accurate. All of those things being able to make reads at the line of scrimmage. I think all of that is amazing. Just watching this guy play. So he also appears to have a pretty good head on his shoulders. He was able to respond pretty quickly to levels of adversity. So we have to be ready to play 60 minutes because that offense constantly puts pressure on you from every part of the field, and it's largely due to his skill set. You have a lot of QBs like your Doug Flutys that are, mid-range or, just short and, sometimes have problems looking over or standing over, looking over the line of scrimmage. That's not his issue. So his release point is already above the line of scrimmage or many of your linemen. So his ability to see the field is already there because of his height. So all of those things really come into play. And so I'm interested to see how we scheme him up and prepare to play this team.
Calvin, what's your thoughts on Cole Kelly from what you've seen?
I agree with everything that Kobe said, and I'll add that he's difficult to defend because he makes you defend the entire field, right? So if you watch the tape of a lot of their games, man, he distributes the ball to a lot of people. They hit the running backs out the backfield. They hit the tight ends. They have about 4 receivers. And they hit wheel routes. They hit screens. They do square ends. They do flies. So and then in short yardage and goal line, you got a quarterback that's 6'7", 260. They got him running the balls, from the shotgun. So he does everything, he does it at an elite level, right? So
Hey,
you
son.
have to defend the entire field,
Yeah, you call me.
you have to with players like that, you have to change your looks a little bit. Can't show them the same thing all the time because they're really good at the system that they run. And he's been in it a while, so he's dangerous. He looks like the elite offensive player that and the trophy that he's won.
Well, there's no better person to tell us about our upcoming opponent than head coach Willie Simmons. Coach Simmons, congratulations. Welcome to the show, back to the O&G. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, guys. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure how much of our analysis of Cole Kelly that you heard. How would you evaluate our analysis of Cole Kelly versus what you have seen over the last few days?
Well, probably wasn't the name I wanted to hear as soon as I jumped on, but no, he's as good as advertised. Again, I think you're arguably seeing the top FCS offensive pro prospect against the top FCS defensive prospect in the game this weekend. And as good as Marquise Bell is and has been for us, I think Cole Kelly is that good of an offensive player as well. So he's, everything that's been talked about. He's a big guy. He's got a really good arm. He's smart. He has weapons at his disposal, and so they do a really good job of utilizing him and getting him involved in the action. So this will definitely be our stiffest challenge as a defense. But when you get into playoff football, that's what you have to do. You have to beat really good teams and some of the top players in the country, and so our guys will definitely be up for the challenge.
Hey, let's go back for a second. I know we're past the 24 hours. So I guess my question for you, I'm going to try to frame this right. Give us an idea of something that maybe a very cool moment or something that maybe, because I've heard you on on your show on Tuesday. I missed the SWAC media press thing on Monday, but give us an idea of something or maybe a call that you received that was just really really satisfying or rewarding to hear, given everything since the win on Saturday.
Well, I think the thing that stands out the most to me was the moment on the podium, after the game with my grandmother. Obviously my grandmother sent 5 of her 9 kids to the highest of 7 hills. My mom being the first, and she's my only living grandmother. And really, she was one of the reasons I decided to come be the head coach at FAMU, just to be able to celebrate moments like this with my closest family. And so obviously the showers of praise, the smiles, the hugs, all those things have been phenomenal. But that was a moment that I'll never forget. Just being able to share that moment, with my maternal grandmother, who made the trip to Orlando and got to see her grandson, win a game that everyone has talked about, for 2 years now. And so that moment again is etched in my memory, and it was truly a blessing to be able to share that with her.
Nice, nice. Kelvin, what do you got?
Coach, I know you can't give away too much and so forth, but I'll ask the question anyway. How are we looking health-wise? I know we got a few guys, I won't call names, but we got a few guys that got banged up a little bit. And is there anything you can share with that? And then secondly, talk about what it's going to take, in your opinion, to come out of Hammond Saturday evening with the victory.
Well, as far as injuries, this is week 13 in the season, and so I think everyone is pretty, beat up, banged up, and that's what playoff football is. So we have some guys who are going to make the trip that are a little bit gimpy. We have some guys who are coming off of injury, and we have some guys that got banged up in last week's game. And so, the 64 guys that we're allowed to take, we feel confident that they'll be able to give us what they can. And this time of year, it's going to take some gut checks. It's going to take some soul searching and some guys really digging in deep to be able to play through those injuries. Because again, it's football, and that's what you get in football in the months of November and December. So, guys like Chad Hunter and Courtney Cox, Gentle Hunt, Jamaria Cherie, guys that have been battling those ankles and knees and things of that nature. They got to go. And the key to victory for us is to be who we are. Stick to our formula. Protect the ball on offense, establish the run, control the clock, and then defensively eliminate big plays and get after the quarterback. And get 11 hats to the ball. That's been the recipe for success for us this season, and there's no need to change that just because it's playoff football. So do what we've done all year. Just do it, to the best of our ability. And our guys have had a phenomenal week of practice. And I believe that we're going to be, hitting on all cylinders come Saturday.
Kofi.
Hello, Coach. Congratulations on everything and all of your great success. I want to say, just obviously, the Why Not Us show has really been a blessing to a lot of people, as a lot of people have been able to look inside the program just a little bit to see the culture that you've built, man. And I literally see transformation taking place in the lives of from the coaches on down. And so that's really a testament to your leadership, man. And so I just want to applaud that. I want to say, in your week of preparation, have you heard from our previous playoff coaches like Billy Joe or Rudy Hubbard or any of those guys? Have they reached out to you? Have any of the former players that have been on those playoff runs, have they reached out to you? What has that communication been like?
Well, I got a text from Coach Hubbard shortly after the Classic and after we were announced as a playoff team. Congratulating me on the victory, and then also to talk about how the teams, this year's version is very similar to the '78 team that won the first 1AA FCS national title. The great defense. The strong run game, the quarterback who got better every single week. Again, a lot of similarities between the two teams. So he talked about the discipline that it's going to take, and I took that message to the team. Right, and so we got congratulated by Quinn Gray, who's been a playoff quarterback. Marcus Farland, some of those guys. So the texts have been pouring in. Coach Joe, I saw he had some nice quotes, in the paper about the team, and he was one that I was actually going to text tonight or tomorrow. Obviously, I sent out my Happy Thanksgiving text to everyone, but Coach Joe's always been a great mentor of mine, just like Coach Hubbard. and I know those guys are excited about this football team and the opportunity that we have this weekend. So I'll talk to them about their experiences here in the next day or so, just about what to expect, especially on the road. But I think that old Rattler spirit from Jake Gaither and William Bell and those guys will be with the Mighty Rattlers this weekend in Hammond.
I think that it's interesting that, just with us being in the playoffs again, that I think even in that first playoff appearance, we actually went west to play Jackson State. And so now we're going west to Louisiana to play. And I just find it kind of ironic, man. I'm feeling good about this team, man. Best of luck to you, man, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Kofi. Same to you.
Yes, sir.
Coach, does having played against somebody like Alabama A&M, does that help in the preparation and getting ready for Southeastern?
I think it does. Obviously going against prolific passers, Aquil Glass and Corey Fields, kind of gave our defense an idea of what it's like to go up against a team that can throw the ball around the yard. Aquil Glass is the 5th leading passer in the country. Obviously, Cole Kelly is number 1. And so we've faced a team with a great quarterback and a talented receiver core, very similar to what we're about to face this Saturday. So again, it'll be a great litmus test for us. We're top 5 defense nationally. They're the top scoring offense in the country nationally. And so that old saying, what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? Something's got to give. And so again, our defense has its hands full, but I think their offense has their hands full.
All right. So I don't think we have Coach. So, well, look, we appreciate his time. I don't know
absolutely.
our signal,
but
yeah, no, he was definitely he was managing all kinds of duties. So I mean, we appreciate him taking time out of his busy schedule. Yeah, exactly. So I think we got in. I think we wanted to kind of get in with Coach. So we'll definitely send him a thank you for his time. Let's kind of bring it back to our conversation we were having before Coach joined us. Oh, there's Coach.
there
Coach, all right, we still got you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't know if it was me or you. Yeah, I'm back on.
Yeah. All right. We still got a few months. Kelvin, did you want to get a final word in here with Coach?
Absolutely, Coach. And you kind of talked about it in your show on Tuesday. But you got the top defense, top scoring, I believe, defense, one of the top 5 in the nation. And you got 2 coordinators who are in their first year, actually, as the co-coordinators. And I know that they did have a chance for a half against A&T to mess around with it, I think, in 2019. But this is their first year, man. And to have a first year like this, man, it's special. Just talk about those coaches and all your coaches, but those coaches and what they done this first year.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Once Ralph Street, our former defensive coordinator, left to take the job at Marshall, I had a tough decision to make. And again, I had interest from a lot of guys who wanted to come and run our defense, and guys who had been coordinators before, even guys who had been before, at the Division I level. So there was a chance for me to make what many would consider a splash hire. But the one thing I wanted was some consistency within. We had a good thing going. Right? We won 9 games in 2019. We had a great nucleus of guys coming back, and I didn't really want to upset the establishment. And so, Brandon Sharp is a guy that had been with me, for 6 years up to that point, or 5 years up to that point. 3 years at Prairie View A&M, and then those 2 seasons at FAMU before COVID. And there's a guy that I've known for 15 years of profession, and again, that's been with me for obviously at FAMU. So they earned it. They were ready. I interviewed them both. They did a really good job in sharing their plan and their vision. I talked to them about what it would be like to work together as co-coordinators, if that was a possibility. And they were both open to that idea. And so I thought it was a great marriage. Ryan's knowledge of the front end, defensive line play, obviously he coaches the linebackers, and then Brandon with his knowledge of the back end, the safeties and the corners, and how those two marry together. And you can see the fruits of their labor, all they put in. And the one thing I can tell you is that those guys, those players believe in our system. You know, they trust what we do 100%. We allow them to play fast. We allow them to be physical. And again, they're having a lot of fun. And I think that's the mark of a great defense. So, again, I can't say enough about the job that those two guys have done. They're underpaid tremendously. And so that's something that I have to go to my boss about after this thing is said and done, for fear that someone will pluck them off of our staff. But they're true bright young men that have a bright future in this profession. And we're just blessed to have those guys as co-coordinators.
All right. Well said, Coach. Hey, let me get you out of here with a couple of Thanksgiving-related questions. Ham or turkey? Favorite meat?
Turkey.
Your favorite side dish?
My aunt's mac and cheese.
Okay. Now, which tradition means more, getting the turkey leg or breaking the wishbone?
Oh, wow. Breaking the wishbone.
All right. And last question for you. Favorite dessert at the end of it all?
Oh, red velvet cake. Only me person, but red velvet cake.
Red velvet cake. All right, there it is. So the official menu has been set at the Simmons household. I know you'll get that first plate this year, and well deserved. Congratulations, you'll get that. So thank you, Coach, for taking some time out in your busy evening. You and your family have a happy Thanksgiving, and
happy Thanksgiving,
you guys,
Coach.
coaching staff,
Thanksgiving.
everybody. Thank you, and safe travels to Hammond, and we look forward to seeing our guys play well and be great.
Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate everything, and happy Thanksgiving to all of you as well. And hopefully we can do this again next week and we talk about the next opponent.
Let's go.
Yes, sir. I like it. There it is.
Let's go.
All right, thank you, Coach Simmons, for joining us. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember they can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody. Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more, but it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go, why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU. HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, and Kofi here, and joining us from his home in Louisiana is Mr. Mark Willoughby, the play-by-play voice of the Eastern Louisiana University Lions. Mark, how you doing this evening?
Doing great. How are you guys? Glad to be here. Thanks for the invitation. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. We always like to try to bring on the opponents whenever the Rattlers are coming on to kind of give our fan base a little background on who we're going to be facing. And so, hey, congratulations to you guys as well, making the playoffs. This is the second time in the, I guess we could say the past 3 years, obviously, if we're counting the spring, obviously, because you guys did go to the playoffs in 2019. So it's the second time under Coach Frank Selfo, who is now in his 4th season there at Southeastern. Let's start with I mean, there's a lot of directions we could go, but I wanted to, before we get, obviously, Cole Kelly, we can get into a lot about him, but I thought it was interesting talking about Coach Selfo, because here's a coach who, prior to coming to Southeastern, had worked with several quarterbacks who were in the professional ranks, who've had some NFL experience. He himself had some years in the NFL. He seemed to have brought this offense, this wide open offense, to Southeastern. If I'm looking at some stats correctly, what kind of impact has he made? Has he just been a good fit in the Southland, or has he just been a good fit for Southeastern?
Well, I think, he's been an assistant his whole career. He was an offensive coordinator at Tulane, first of all, under his brother, Chris Fo, offensive coordinator at Louisiana Tech, Arizona, went to the NFL as a quarterback coach, and spent a couple years under Frank Wilson at UTSA as the offensive coordinator. Never really, I guess, aspired to be a head coach. Finally, late in his career, the opportunity at Southeastern came open, and I think it's been the perfect fit for him. I think he may be what he is, a head coach. He lets his coaches coach, and you talk about offense. Our offense coordinator, Greg Stevens, is outstanding. This is his second go-around at Southeastern. He was OC under Ron Roberts as a DC at Baylor back in 13 and 14 when we first went to the playoffs. So he's back. And it's kind of a marriage. It's really, really worked. But you talk about Frank. He's coached Patrick Ramsey, who was a first-round pick in the NFL, J.P. Lossman, Nick Foles, the NFL, and plus he had Blake Bortles with Jacksonville. So he's been around a lot of high-quality quarterbacks, and obviously he's done a great job with Cole Kelly and Greg Stevens, and of course Jason Virgil before him. So they call him the quarterback whisperer. It's kind of his nickname, but he just has a great persona about him. He just has a way of coaching in position and putting guys at ease that they just tend to get better under.
Yeah, and obviously Cole Kelly transferred from Arkansas to Southeastern. Big guy, 6'7", 260, Walter Payton Award winner last year. I think this year, I mean, I didn't see anybody else. There's some good numbers out there by a lot of good people, but what Kelly has done this year, I don't know where it ranks in comparison with other Walter Payton quarterback winners, but it's pretty impressive. What have you seen that has sort of stood out for you as you've watched Cole Kelly this season?
Well, the thing about Cole, he had a great spring, no question about it. Outstanding spring, actually. And here's a guy that, he in high school and through his first few years at Arkansas had a different coordinator every year until he got here. Greg Stevens is the first offense coordinator that he's had multiple years in his career, so he's finally starting to settle in. But the growth that he's undergone just from really April until now is incredible. as good as he was in the spring, that much better now, and it's just continuing to get better week after week, and that's probably the biggest thing. It's not obviously he has ability, 6'7", 260, can throw around the yard, and a big guy with talent, but just his ability to take coaching, to look, and just get better each week. That's the most impressive thing about him in my book.
Mm-hmm. Kelvin.
Yes, Mark. If you could talk about, the Southland, the scheduling, right? You had you played 3 teams twice. I know there's been some shuffling around with conference membership, and you had a storm that came your way also.
Sure.
And wreaked havoc on some of those, which I'm assuming made it challenging for everyone. But I'd be interested to know, how did all this scenario impact Southeastern, and do you think is a net wash, or is it a plus, is a minus? Just your thought on the whole situation.
Well, it's kind of hard to say, really. I mean, obviously the conference situation, something that kind of just blew up overnight. You had Stephen F. Austin, and there's a lot of different situations or individual situations with each school and why they left. But Stephen F. Austin's a basketball power. They want to be like the Duke of the South or the Gonzaga. They feel like their basketball program's on a different level, and it is. So they wanted to get out for basketball reasons. Sam Houston and SFA are kind of tied together. Sam Houston is the defending national champions, ranked #1 out of the Southland Conference. Their last go around in the Southland was in the spring. So they followed Stephen F. Austin out the door. Now they're going FBS now, the Conference USA. That's a whole other story. But and with that, Abilene Christian followed, and then also Lamar, because Lamar's kind of tied to SFA, and so they all it was a chain reaction. And then Central Arkansas, who was also in our conference, went the other way. They went to the Atlantic Sun Conference. So we left schools in one calendar year, or less than a calendar year. So you look at it right now, the Southland has two teams in the playoffs, and Carter Word's an outstanding football team with a great quarterback. And then you have Sam Houston State, the defending national champion, and Stephen F. Austin, who's in the playoffs. That would have been 4 schools that were just in the Southland Conference last year in the playoffs. So that's how strong the league was, split up, and the schedule just is ridiculous. I mean, we have to play 3 teams twice. That's an issue. Obviously, the non-conference schedule was an issue, and then we're running from a hurricane. So we spent the first 5 weeks of the season on the road, and 7 out of 11 games on the road. So this is a road-weary football team that, this will be just the 5th home game, the first game of the playoff. How does it affect us? I think we won't really know that until after the season. We're in the moment. You're just kind of going through it week to week. But this is a very resilient football team with outstanding team culture, and they've handled it well. So as well as can be expected.
Let me jump in and add or ask regarding the scheduling thing. So that thing kind of came about after, or I guess this summer, or how did that all come about, and why didn't they just decide to do the 5 non-conference or 5 conference and everything else be non-conference?
Well, the reason was actually came about last year, because the decisions to leave were made about a year ago this time. It filtered into the spring. Sam Houston stayed in the league, actually went through the spring schedule, and I don't want to get too deep into the backstory. There's a lot of reasons, but basically the problem, the reason you can't do 5 conference, 6 non-conference is all the schedules are made years in advance. So it's hard to find non-conference opponents. Division I, and we don't like to play Division II and NAI here because we want a full complement of Division I. We would play them if we have to, but we try to stay away from non-Division I teams because it hurts your strength of schedule when it comes playoff time for at-large bids. And so you try to stay in the Division I level. Well, there are only so many Division I teams you can play. So the best course of action for 1 year was to double up. So we played 3 of the other 5 Southland Conference opponents to give us 8 conference games. We had Nebraska on the schedule. They bought us out. We scheduled Central Connecticut at the last minute. That was a road game, a flight. And week number 2, we had Louisiana Tech already on the schedule, an FBS opponent. We lost by 3 in the last minute, so that was a competitive game. And we played North Alabama, which was a game that was already on the schedule. But because of Hurricane Ida, we had to move that game from Hammond to Florence, Alabama on the fly, actually the week before the game. So that's kind of what we've been dealing with here. And, we've managed it okay. And here we are 8-3 in the playoffs. And, we feel like we, could be 10-1, 11-0 even. About 3 play, and we're not. We are, and playing a great team like FAMU. And, it's going to be a difficult challenge for us on Saturday.
Kofi.
So, you've had an opportunity to watch Cole Kelly grow into the he is today. What has been your favorite Cole Kelly moment that you can remember call?
There's a bunch of them. It's hard to really see. Back in the spring, we finished up the spring 4-2. Weren't sure if it was going to be enough to get us in the spring playoffs. Only a 16-team field. As it turned out, it may have been. But 2 days before we played our conference rivalry, and we had a chance for Nicholls State to win the conference and get in the playoffs. And they had beaten us 3 years in a row, and so it was a kind of a big rivalry game for us. And we scheduled Southern Illinois right at the last minute on a Thursday. We go play Nicholls on a Saturday, beat them, flip right around. We bust to Southern Illinois, and they're trying to get in the playoffs. So they had a game against us. So it became a de facto play-in game. The winner was going to get in the playoffs. The loser was going to stay home. And Cole goes up there and throws for 450 yards. They blitzed the house at him, and it was, played out of his mind. He made NFL throws all over the yard. And we ended up losing the game, 55-48, I think. It was a one-score game. We lost in the last few minutes. But it was probably as good of ball game I've seen. He can't play. That's probably my favorite Cole moment.
Awesome.
Hey, go ahead, Kofi. You had another question?
Yeah. Obviously, you're very close to one of our chief rivals, one of our all-time rivals in Southern University. Is there any plans to play Southern University in the near or far distant future?
I would tell you there's always plans on our end. We would love to play them home and home. And I know that we've reached out in the past. For whatever reason, it's tough to get the schedules to match up. And I know they, because they have certain benchmarks and classics and things they play, and it's just tough for it to match up. But I know we would like to do that. But, we would like to see it happen. I just don't know where it's going to fit in. Years I've seen this, our schedule's pushed out to about 4 or 5 years, and I know we're playing a couple of opponents each year for the next few years, so it's going to make it tough unless our conference situation changes to the point where we get that extra non-conference game.
Hey, Mark, what is it about McNeese State? McNeese State is one of those teams that really, when I look at the schedule, it's the only team that's held Southeastern under 40. You did beat them, though. You beat them twice by 3 points each, but they seem to have, I don't know if slowed. I tried to go back and watch highlights and stuff. I couldn't put a handle on it, but what is it about McNeese State that you've seen where they sort of slow, if that's the right word, slow the offense down to a under 40 total?
Well, I would tell you, first of all, they're very talented on defense. They really run. Their front four is outstanding. They have a defensive end. He'll be a Buck Buchanan, similar to Land. This kid's about 6'5", 260. Isaiah Chambers played at the University of Houston, and was a difference maker there, and he's been a difference maker here. So they get after the quarterback. It's one thing they do. The first time we played them this year, we moved the ball 38. Probably could have scored more. We turned the ball over. That game was nowhere near as close as the final score. They scored 21 points off of special teams and turnovers. So that game really wasn't that close. The rematch just they take the air out of the ball. That's one thing McNeese does. I mean, they'll run the game play clock all the way down to 2 when he's the ball. They're running the football. Actually milk it, and so you kind of keep the ball away from us. And did a great job here. It was 7-3 at halftime, and we were up like 23-7 late in the game. They came back and made it a 3-point game late, but and it's a rivalry. I mean, McNeese is a great program. They have great players. They're well coached. That's just the way it is. Every time Southeastern McNeese plays, it's always going to be like that. It doesn't matter who's got the best team or who's stronger that year. It's always going to be a close, competitive football game. And you guys know rivalries in your league. It's the same thing. So, I just think that's how it plays, kind of like us in Nicholls State. Those games are always going to be tight. They're always going to be close. They're always going to go down in the last minute. Doesn't matter who's the strongest team in a given year.
Let me get you out of here with this question, Mark. With obviously outside of Cole Kelly, defensively, there are a couple guys. Even though the points, you guys get in these shootouts with teams, and the points are what they are, but there's some standouts on the defensive side of the ball. Even a couple of All-Americans on that side of the ball. Talk a little bit about some of the standout defensive guys, and what has the defense unfairly been picked on for the amount of yards they give up, or is it maybe just a product of having a very good offense on the other side?
It's kind of tough. We play in a league, for better or worse. Cameron Ward, we haven't talked about him. We talked about Cole Kelly. Cameron Ward at UIW is the Patrick Mahomes of FCS football. He's unbelievable. If you'll get a chance, look up Cameron Ward at UIW and watch his highlights. He's incredible. So you got a guy like him, Lindsey Scott at Nicholls State. You're talking about three. In the Southland Conference, we have 3 of the top 5 offenses in the country. So right off the bat, we're playing 3 great offenses that are going to get us in points. And then we played Louisiana Tech before they had injuries. Austin Kendall, a transfer starter at West Virginia. They were loaded on offense. They scored 45 on us, I think 35 offensive points. But we just off the schedule, the way it was built, we're going to give up some yards and points, and so that's been part of it. Secondly, I just think it's kind of the nature of it. It's just an offensive league. It's going to give up points. It's just like you look at the Missouri Valley, everything's skewed defense. Are the defenses that good, or the offenses that? Which is it? I think it's a little combination of both. But Zy Alexander is a kid that plays corner. He has 6 interceptions. He's a freshman. He's long, about 6'3", 180. Very good athlete coming into his own. He's got a chance to turn some heads down the road, and we got some guys up front that can get after you a little bit. So I think we're probably a little more talented than the numbers, but they are, and we just got to try to outscore people. So it's kind of how it's been all year.
All right, and Southeastern. I'm not going to ask you for a score prediction because you're going to be doing play-by-play, but we'll frame it this way and say Southeastern will win the game if they do what?
I think we turn the ball over. We just can't turn the ball over. And I think all the games that we've struggled in this year or had issues in, we've turned the ball over, and or had some issues against UIW. We turned it over, didn't get the ball in the red zone. It was same thing with Louisiana Tech. Penalties and turnovers. I would say that would be it. If we stay penalty free and protect the football, we tend to do well.
All right. Well, I know it's going to be a good crowd. A lot of Rattlers will be coming down I-10 to 12 to Hammond, and should be a packed house. I know there'll be a good contingent of folks from both sides, and Kelvin will be there. So Kelvin, you make sure to look out for Mark. I'm sure he'll show you where all the good media food is.
Hey, when you come in, you'll see a snowball stand on the left side of the front. That'll be where we are. We're in a little it's like a little outhouse up on the patio there. That's where we do our broadcast from, because we don't have enough room. We sell the suites, so come say hello, and we'd like to look forward to meeting you guys. We know it's going to be an outstanding football game, and look forward to Rattler fans making the journey over. We got a small, but it's a beautiful stadium. It's not very big, but it's a great place to watch a football game. I think your fans will be happy with it, even though it's not going to be as big a crowd as you're used to.
No, it looked nice on TV. It didn't look like on TV. The visuals look really nice on TV. So it should be a fun leader. Good. That's what I'm hoping for.
Outstanding. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great game. We know it is. We've kind of had this circled even before the announcement.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Mark.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys, and enjoy it, and we'll see you guys on Saturday.
All right. Thanks again for your time, Mark. Have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll be back right after these words. You're watching O&G Strike Zone.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8. He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
For 200 years, Montgomery, Alabama has been making history by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, and Kofi. Again, big thanks to Mark Willoughby for joining us, as well as Coach Simmons and Coach Yilmaz for joining us in tonight's show. We appreciate all you guys for tuning in and watching along with us. And it's that fate. Oh, first off, updates, Kelvin. Give an update again. We got Rattler men's basketball at halftime on the road, taking on UTEP, Conference USA member. What do we got? Halftime score.
The halftime score is UTEP 30, FAMU 25. So our men's basketball team, we're down by 5 at the half. We played a really competitive first half.
Right. All right. Kofi says, let's get out of here. So it's about time to wrap up the show. Let's go to what we do best here at the end of the show. Just a reminder for folks, after the FAMU game on Saturday, we will do a post-game show. It'll be YouTube or Twitter Spaces. We're still working out which one. But Kofi and I will do a post-game show. Kelvin will be on the road, so maybe we'll be able to get him on the air via phone somehow, some way. So, all right, predictions, keys to this matchup, Kofi, go.
Well, we got to run the ball. We can't turn the ball over. That's playoff ball. Don't give up. Obviously the other team is going to make plays, but turnovers and penalties will decide this game.
Care to make a prediction?
FAMU by 7. I'm going to say 31-24.
Okay. All right, Kelvin, your keys to the game and prediction.
This is a game where I hadn't said this, I don't think, all year. one key for this game, first of all, is our coaches have to be on point with their in-game decision making. Everything from fake punts, trick plays. They got to fight the urge to get outside of the game plan. A team with that kind of firepower, sometimes you want to show you got the firepower too. I think we have to stay true to what we are. We have to be run first, set up the pass. We want to limit. We want those 10-play drives, 6-7 minutes, eat up chunks of the clock, and don't give that offense much opportunity. And we're gonna have to do it for 60 minutes because the offense is explosive. I do think that Alabama A&M gives us a window into what we're facing. I do think this team is a little more efficient and potent because the quarterback is more accurate. But in terms of weapon size and talent level, I think that Alabama A&M game really was a pretty good gauge. But so I want the coaches have to be flawless in what they're doing on game day, and then from there, I think it's important that we run the ball and that we control the clock, which we have done all year. And the one thing from a defensive standpoint, I think that is important, is that we switch up our looks. I don't think we can just sit back and play a first half where we got to tackle well. That's true, but I think this team is too explosive offense to give them one look. So hopefully our front four, we have our best pressure team in there because they don't run the ball a whole lot. In fact, they just run the shoulder run, to be honest. They want to throw the ball, and they tend to get the ball, even though they'll hit inner receiver, and they'll use any side of the field. The one theme I think they have with their passing game is trying to get rid of the ball quick, like within 3 steps, drops and so forth. So I think that's an opportunity for us not only to keep everything in front of us and tackle. There'll be an opportunity here and there where we'll be able to perhaps step in front of a pass, jump a route. I also think that from a defensive line standpoint, I think that's the biggest matchup of the game. Our defensive line against their offensive line. So I think there'll be some where we'll be able to swipe at the ball on the big quarterback, and maybe get some turnovers, fumbles that way. But we have to play a clean game, man, and it's got to be 60 minutes. It's strength against strength. I don't know if they have played a defense with our kind of talent, and I don't know if they can prepare for what they're going to face. I'm hoping that's the case. And with that being said, I think I'm picking FAMU. I'm probably picking like a McNeese State type score. I think our defense can at least perform at that level. So I'll say they'll get 24. And I'll say FAMU will get 40. I just don't think their defense is strong enough. They don't stop people and they don't stop the run particularly. So I'm hoping. I hope that that will be the case this game, and that's what I'm banking on. So I say 40 to 28.
40 to 28. The thing that's interesting about Southeastern to me, you brought up the defensive line. Our defensive line has got to make Kelly uncomfortable. Of all the games that I watched, I didn't see too many times where he had to come out of the pocket to make plays. It's like one thing, you can't give him 4 or 5 seconds. If he gets 4 or 5 seconds, he's throwing deep, he's killing somebody. It does worry me about our quarterbacks against the big play. We've seen that in a couple of games where our smaller cornerbacks, I don't think, by looking at the size, I could have missed something, but I don't think they have the size like 6'3", 6'4" receiver But if you give a guy 4 seconds, okay, now we're running one-on-one. And we've lost some of those over this season. In Jackson State, I recall, Mississippi Valley State. That worries me. So can our defensive line force Kelly to move left, move right, get out the pocket? Now, the thing about that, though, dude can run. So that's the thing that worries me. He runs straight up. If it's inside, if they get inside the 5-10 yard line, we got to have a linebacker, or this is where your Marquise Bell comes in and has got to be able to sort of come up and be prepared to hit him and slow him down and be prepared to tackle, because they will run an RPO and he will keep it and try to power through. I mean, he's just as big as our linebacker. He might be bigger than our linebackers. So that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a guy who might be bigger than our linebackers. So if he gets an opportunity, then, you know, he's going to bust through. He's going to bust through and get a 5-10 yard pickup. That's what we got to worry about. So I'm hoping that we can get enough adequate pressure up the front and on the corners quickly. You know, I don't know if you're going to see a lot of blitzes. You know, I don't know if that's what our linebackers are best at. So that's where we have to be. I'm hoping our depth in our cornerback position comes out. As we've said, the amount of talent that we have on the defensive side of the ball, it's going to show out. The only team that's comparable is McNeese State. That's the team who's held them. And like I said, they've got history with McNeese State, as Mark Willoughby had said just earlier. And so if we're looking, if you guys out there want to go watch a team, go watch Southeastern versus McNeese State. That might be the only kind of team that has sort of kept it relatively close. This team has been in five games decided by 3 points. They're 2-3 in those games. The two wins were against McNeese State. So close game, we can overcome, we can win that game. But outside of that, they've won all their other games, you know, by more than a touchdown. I think FAMU can score 35, 42 points in this ball game. I really do. I feel like they can kind of put up similar numbers like they get against Bethune. What's our defense going to do is the question. It's a tough one. I don't know. I'm going to give them about 3 or 4 scores and hope that, you know, they aren't all at the worst times of the ball game. You know, like maybe 1 score a quarter. That's about it. So I'm looking at a 42-28 FAMU win, and I think that's where we go. So that'll be interesting to see. You guys hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Let us know what your score predictions are. At ONG Strike Zone is where you can find us. You can always email the show at ongstrikezone@gmail.com. We're feeling pretty confident. America might not be, well, at least prognosticators might not be expecting the Rattlers to overcome, but we've got a lot of confidence in our guys, and for good reason. Defense travels. Remember what wins championships. That's all I'll say. My dad always tells me that. Playoff time, defense wins championships. Don't forget that. Remember, we've been on the other side of this, right? When we've had the prolific offense, we saw what happened, right? Let's just say defense wins championships. That's all I'm going to say. And this is the year where we got a hellified defense. That's going to do it for us. Any final thoughts, Kofi, as you get ready to head into Thanksgiving?
Just happy Thanksgiving, man. The Rattlers got to bring that level of intensity, bring that focus, and we'll be fine.
Kelvin, final thoughts.
Rattlers. Happy Thanksgiving. And we need to have a
well said. Happy
advantage in Hammond in Hammond, Louisiana. So Rattler Nation, do what we do. Let's show up. Let's make the place a sellout. Let's have more fans than they do, and let's cheer these Rattlers on so we can go to Virginia next week.
Let's have an orange out in Hammond, Louisiana, as I just saw a Twitter post go out. Let's have an orange out in Hammond. So everybody travel safe on the road. If you're at home with us, we look forward to you joining us on Saturday night. Everyone have a blessed and happy Thanksgiving with your family, friends, and loved ones. And we will see you guys this upcoming weekend as the Rattlers travel to southeastern Louisiana for round 1 of the playoffs. You guys be well. Rattler Nation, take care and happy Thanksgiving. Peace out.